Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. Yay! Hi, Brittany.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good.
Good. Thank you all for tuning in. We have another segment of Let's Talk About It. We got a great topic for you today. And I can't wait to talk about it, get started and everything. But first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone for everything that you do for us here at Build Your Best Life, for your prayers, your likes, your comments, and your shares. Thank you so much. Without you, our content would not be able to get out in as many places as it can. So we appreciate that, because we want to make sure that this content is getting in the hands of the right people all over the world. So thank you. Now, our topic today is one that I think a lot of people can resonate with. It's just a lot of it going on, but it's emotions in the middle. So I know we all have emotions, but do we all know kind of what to do with those emotions? And here at Build Your Best Life, one of the segues that we are really, really passionate about is our single mothers raising sons. And so you have to be in a good place in order to be able to care properly for others. So you got to be 100. And I've often said, you remember what they say on the airplane: if you're with someone and they need assistance, you got to put that mask on yourself first. Because if something happens to you, you're not going to be able to do anything. If you put it on them first and then you pass out, then you know what? Right. So that self-care is very, very important. And you have to manage those emotions. If you don't manage those emotions, then that leads to uncontrolled emotions. Because, some people say, well, especially when they're talking about our young men, you shouldn't cry. You shouldn't wear your feelings on your shoulder. But that's why we have them. They're given to us in order to, circumvent or express ourselves, to get it out. Because it's not good when it stays in, but it's just when those emotions get out of control that they are an issue. So emotions are not good. They're not bad. They're not right. They're not wrong. They're just there. So we want to talk a bit more about emotions today. So what do you think, Brittany, when it comes to those emotions?
Well, I think there are so many factors in thinking about our emotions and how we handle them, and how not only we handle ours, but we teach our children to regulate their emotions. One thing that has been a struggle for me, or that I'm working on, is that I always seem to be surrounded by an older generation, and anytime my son does something I feel pressured to react the way that they say that they would react, but that is not, most of the time, those are not ways that are reactions that are conducive to how my son processes his emotions. And so I am learning to gain more confidence and more emotional stability within myself to react or respond in a way that I know will help de-escalate his emotions and help him regulate his emotions. That's something that I'm working on. I'm not an expert, but we're getting better, and he's getting better because we've been having some explosive reactions from him lately, you know?
All right. I understand. But and it's, each child is different. And of course, like you say, being around the older generation, they raise children differently, because I raised mine differently, but the children are so different.
Right.
My children and my grandchildren, you can't compare them. They're how they verbalize, how they communicate, how they receive stuff is so different. So you cannot treat them like we treated, kids 20, 30 years ago. You can't do that and get good results. So
Right.
Kudos to you.
Well, I'm not an expert, but I'm definitely working on it. And the other thing that or one of the other things that we are working on is he goes from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. And sometimes if you don't catch him in the middle of going from 0 to 100, he gets at 100 and his brain stops processing things around him, and he's just angry and upset, and he doesn't hear anything that you're saying. And I have learned the power of distraction. Distract him from what he's obsessively thinking on, and we can work through whatever the issue is. But I couldn't have reached that point if I hadn't gotten to a point within myself where I am capable of, in my own situations, being able to model for him the correct way to, take some deep breaths and center yourself and think through the situation and respond accordingly instead of reacting emotionally.
All right. Yes, and it's so easy to do. You get frustrated because, like I said, my grandchildren, I have 7, and they range in age from 27 all the way down to 18 months. So I can see differences in all of them. And so the 2 youngest ones, dealing with them is just like totally different. So, I would find myself like, really? You talking to Nana like that? Really? But now I know when he's tired, it's just like you say, 0 to 100, and like that, we call it wilding out. He just wilds out. And so I found now that when he's tired, he doesn't want to listen, he doesn't hear. But then I tell him, I say, come sit by Nana. I don't want to because I don't want to go see her. Come sit by Nana. And he sits by Nana and he leans over Nana. And next thing you know, he's gone.
Yep.
He's gone.
Yep.
But, to keep nice, because I don't want him to say, I don't want to be bothered with Nana. So I had to find, get a way to, hey, wait a minute. I can't deal with him like I deal with a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. This is different. So get my emotions in check. So what can I do? And if I feel like I'm going to lose it, I just walk out of the room, walk somewhere else, and then I come back.
Right. The other thing that I have learned with my son is that because he's taller, he's as tall as some 7-year-olds, and he's 4.5. Okay. Because he's taller, people think that he's older, and they expect him to react as an older kid and not as, a preschooler, because he's a preschooler and he acts like a preschooler. But because And that's the other struggle we've had in his daycare, is because he's one of the bigger kids. So when they need to rotate kids to another class, he gets pushed over to the older class because he's bigger. But,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of practicing at home, a lot of modeling it for him, and also unlearning for ourselves, because we react the way we've seen our elders or other people react or respond, and we have to unlearn those bad reactions to learn good reactions and be able to teach it to our children.
All right. That's good. If you just joined us, we are talking about emotions in the middle. And so as parents, grandparents, caregivers, we have to ensure that we know how to control our emotions so that we can better care for those that are in our care. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a nursery or around, well, I'm sure you have, but, a group of small kids, if you are like, get frustrated or you lose it, they can pick up on it, and you'll have a room full of crying, screaming kids because they can feel your energy.
Yep.
So
they pick up on it real quick.
I'm like, okay, what's going on today? Somebody upset? What's wrong with the kids? So I try to, I used to working in children's ministry. I would try to put off some of the things I would do so I wouldn't have to get up so early. But a couple of Sundays doing that, I was like, I have to get up earlier. So on Sunday, every Sunday, I have to get up at 5:30. And I know that's normal time for a lot of people, but I don't get up that early. So Sundays, I have to get up at 5:30 because I have to get my devotion time in before I go to church. I have to. So I can be in that calm, that better space. I'm not quick to react. So again, it's about prioritizing what we need to do for our self-care.
Yes.
Yeah. And, I found it interesting in researching to talk about this topic, because I know that emotions and everything that's tied to emotions is really, really relevant today. It was that emotional regulation. I had never heard that term before. So emotional regulation, that's accepting that you have those emotions, that you feel those emotions, and it's okay for those emotions to come out, and then noticing them, because sometimes we know what our triggers are, and then prioritizing our self-care. So we know the triggers, what we feel, when it's coming up. So then it better helps us to manage.
Exactly. And along with that, something I was just thinking about is we are also trying to teach my son in particular, but also other kids at the daycare that I work at, unlearning holding grudges. That's not something that I initially had thought about with emotional regulation. But for instance, my son, if we go to Target after school or work, he likes to get treats at Target, usually something at the checkout. And for instance, this afternoon, he said, no treats today because I was a bad boy at school or because I did this. And I was like, well, you did do those things and that happened, but we let it go. You know that those are not things that you should be doing. We practiced our deep breathing and our thinking about why we did that or why we felt that way. And we're moving on, but it's just like listening to him talk about himself in that way makes me realize it's even more, they say, be careful what you say or be careful with your words, but it's so, so important. And I think that we forget that when we have young kids or when we are in the presence of young kids. Like part of your emotional regulation has to be being careful what you say and how you speak to them, because they are remembering what you're saying.
All right. Yeah.
And they will remember it for 10 years.
Yes, they will. Longer than that.
Yes, they will remember.
Yeah. So why did he make the statement? I mean, had you said that, or he just
No,
wrong?
he has there's a girl at his school that he likes, and they're like best buddies, and he wanted to do something that she was doing. And so I guess they decided they would race towards whatever the thing was. And he got there first, even though, she wanted to do it first. And because he got there first, he took it, and she was upset. And so that turned into a mini episode of where he was upset because it was taken away from him and given to her because she wanted it first. And so he interpreted that I was a bad boy because I did this to Olivia, and we had to reverse that thinking and, work through the situation. And in the end, he was fine. He was good. But it took some time, but he is no longer as explosive as he was. It was at first for probably a month. When he started to have these big tantrums, it was throwing chairs and throwing his shoes and taking off his socks and throwing everything and hitting people that came near him. And now it's like obviously more towards he's looking for attention, maybe, in some of the situations, because he will take off his shoes and throw his shoes on the floor and then lay face down on the floor. And if you try to talk to him, you can't talk to him. You just have to give him some time to calm down because you just can't get through that barrier at that time.
Yep. Well, they go through those things. I mean, even the 18-month-old, her mom took a picture and she's standing like this where she has her head turned from the camera, but she's standing like this. And she's standing on a book, and her mom says, she's 18 months old now. Her mom says, I told her to give her dad the book. So she threw it on the floor and stood on it. Now you're like, well, where did she learn that from?
Standing on business, though.
So it's just amazing. And, again, but we have to, no matter what we have going on, because that's not just the only thing you have going on, that, you have to interact with your son, but you got to cook, clean, make sure he eats, reading, studying, whatever. So you have all these things going on. And then, the least little thing that's different, you might feel something. So you got to be able to react within yourself quickly.
Right.
You got to go from zero.
It takes a lot of quick thinking. But one thing that I have learned, I actually have picked this up kind of from the Bible. There's in the Bible, we put on the armor of God. Mm-hmm. We do the reverse when we're going into school. If we're upset about something or if we've got a lot on our mind, we take it off. We pretend like we're taking it off and we leave it outside the door at school. So we're forgetting about it for the day. At the end of the day, we need to talk about it with my son. Then we'll talk about it. But it's the same thing if he's had a bad day or a rough day at school. When we get to the car after school, we take it off. We take it off. We leave it in the grass. We leave it on the ground outside at school. We sing songs in the car. We shake it out. We do whatever we need to get our minds off of it so that we can go home and have a peaceful evening.
Oh, that's good. I like that. But tell my daughter-in-law about that. That's good.
Listen, it works. And sometimes he'll be like, Mommy, I put that coat of frustration back on because I'm still upset. And so then we talk about it. And then I go, okay, let's go outside. And we take it off and he's all good.
Hey, it sounds good. Hey, I might have to try that for myself.
Hey, sometimes you got to do it.
Yep.
Sometimes you just need that physical image of taking off whatever is burdening you or holding you down.
You're right.
Take it off, put it in the trash or put it out the door and go about your day, because if you can't change it, why obsessively think on it?
That's right. Yeah, I laugh, but that's I like that one. That's a good thing to do. You know, if more people did that, wow, you have more peace.
Yep.
Yep. And I was going to talk about finding releases. Now that to me is a great release.
Oh yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's good. Another one I think you already mentioned as well is breathing. I always tell Grayson, all right, now when you go to school, if you get upset, now I want you to take a breath, count to 10, take a breath. Can you do that for Nana? Yes. I said, okay. Remember, don't forget.
Yes. We do a lot of practicing deep breaths, because if he, it's kind of like muscle memory. If he's going through an episode or having a hard time if we practice taking deep breaths and I say, hey, buddy, can you take a deep breath? Then he does it more willingly instead of, I don't know how, I can't do it.
Yep. What's another one? Getting that alone space.
Yep.
All right. You send your kids for a timeout. You know what? I got to take a timeout. You're going to be good. Sit right there. Read your book. I'll be right back.
Yep. Sometimes we have to take, I will say, okay, buddy, I'm setting you up to color and mommy needs 5 minutes. I can't really do more than 5 minutes at the moment, because after 5 minutes, it's kind of like, it's kind of pushing it. He needs juice, or he needs a snack, or he's ready for dinner, or he wants to go to bed.
Yeah. But yeah, 5 minutes is good. I was in the kitchen and I told Grayson, I said, go look on Nana's desk and get Nana's glasses. And he stayed a little longer than I thought he should, but I was like, okay, he can't find them. So I said, Grayson, you couldn't find Nana's glasses? No. And so we come back in my office together, and they're sitting right there. Well, I didn't find out till he had gone home, but my husband bought me a new journal for the new year. Baby, Grayson had gone through that journal. And he had to write it down. That's why he couldn't see my glasses. He was having fun.
He was distracted.
Yep. So yeah, 5 minutes is good. I wouldn't take much more than that. That's probably too long.
Nope. I have ended up with, even in 5 minutes, decorated walls, thanks to crayons, or, he's helped himself to the chocolate milk and it's all over the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. Yep. This is good. I like this. And then let's talk about some triggers. And, it said in the article that, and I knew this, but, it's just reading it, that people have different triggers, and what may trigger me may not trigger you. It's like it depends, but a lot of times I will kind of like have a meltdown about being late. I don't like to be late at all. And my husband, on the other hand, he thinks it doesn't take you as long to get somewhere. Well, I realize that, but to me, but you don't know what's going to happen on the way. Right. So I'd rather be early than late. So it's like, so he's just looking at me like, okay, we gotta go. Right. But that is one of my triggers. I know it. So, I don't like to make people late, and I don't like people to make me late. So that triggers me, where, again, some people, it's okay.
I don't like to be late, but one trigger for me that like will send me on a spiral is if I don't get enough sleep. Like if I know that I need to be in bed by a certain time, and if I'm not in bed by that time, I will start to stress about, well, if I'm not in bed when I'm supposed to be in bed, then I'm only going to get X number of hours of sleep, and I'm going to be grumpy tomorrow, and then I can't fall asleep because I'm stressed about not getting enough sleep. And it might sound silly to some people, but like I know that I am not going to be as nice as I could be if I don't get enough sleep.
You. Yep, that's good.
Sometimes I'll text my boss and be like, Remy won't go to sleep. I might be a little grumpy tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock tonight.
Oh my goodness. Yep, I understand that. And it's just so much involved in this. I thought, we hit it and that was it, but it's just so many moving pieces, and it helps you really to understand how people will lose it if they are not aware of their triggers, how to manage it, and things like that. So it is a lot. Emotions in the middle.
Right.
So I am going to, I guess we need to talk about some of the things that you do, or some other things that may help you when you get into that space. But like you said, if you don't get enough sleep, how you are. And I'm like, if I just have so much going on and this gets on my nerves and that gets on my nerves, then I'll say, oh, I need a stiff drink. If people don't know me, they look at me like, oh, is she alcoholic or something? But a stiff drink is a Dr. Pepper.
Carbonation.
Yeah. So my husband like, you need me to put you one in the freezer? Yes.
Right now.
Yeah. So that kind of like, it's probably just in my mind, but it just makes me feel like, okay, all right, let me take a breather. Take this cold drink. So I can't drink that really fast. So that's going to give me some extra time to think about what's going on. And again, I can only control myself. I can't control anybody else or circumstances. Life happens. So I have to bring myself back in.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that we forget that also, like we forget that if it's not something that we can physically control ourselves, there's nothing we can do to change it. So why are we stressing about it? Why are we upset about it? It is what it is. It's happening. Keep going.
Yep. Not a thing we can do.
Well, how much life are you missing out on by stressing about something that you can't change?
That's right. A lot, probably. Yep. Yeah, that's why they have that serenity prayer. But if we could just, that's what needs to be plastered somewhere sometimes. Hey, I can't control it. I need to understand that. Just change the things I can and have the wisdom to know the difference. And it'd be so much better, so much better.
Exactly.
Yep. So besides taking your little 5-minute breaks, what's something else that you like to do if you need to take a minute?
I have recently gotten into something called Zen Tangles. And it's basically like you pick a shape or you make a squiggly line with either like paint or I most often use markers. And I could send you some pictures of them. I don't have any examples with me, but you just go like trace around with the marker around the line until you fill up the page. And by the time you're done, you're not thinking about whatever was upsetting or stressing about the day anymore. It's just, it's like usually like it takes about 10 minutes. And by the end of it, I'm just like, okay, I'm pretty calm now.
Okay. Yeah, you have to send me a picture of that.
I will. I've been taking the leftover pages and cutting them up into like index card shape and using them to make notes on the back.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Recycling. Yay.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think this has been a great talk. I really enjoyed this.
Me too. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. This one could have actually been like 2 parts. It's so
Yeah.
good. Yep. So do you have anything that you want to close us out with about it?
I would say to anyone who's listening or watching, the number one thing to do to regulate your emotions is to discover your triggers. And then the second step would be to figure out how you can de-escalate yourself and de-escalate your emotions. And then if you have children, which most of us probably do, figure out their triggers and then figure out how to de-escalate or regulate their emotions, so that you can avoid any explosive situations in the future.
Awesome. Yes, those are very good. I love it. Hey, I know you know someone that you can share this with. So please share this. Look at it again. I know I'm probably going to look at this again because I love this. And I'm as we're sitting here talking, I can, because I've been going all day, I can feel myself just
Calming down.
just calm. So I love it. It's good.
Yeah. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, guess what, everybody? You've seen some different things here on Build Your Best Life starting this year. So I know you are familiar with Chucks for Pearls and Earls. We kind of retired them. We were doing that every quarter. This year, we have something that we will be doing every month. We couldn't let the guys outdo us. You know what I'm saying? So it is Moms on a Mission, Raising Sons for Success. And so each month on the third Saturday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Central Standard Time, we will have a group of moms on here with some great hot trending topics. We're starting this Saturday, and we have Anita Cummings from Thompson, Georgia. We have Tanya Washington Presley from Jacksonville, Florida. We have Brittany Clark from Alabama, and yours truly. And our first topic is respect for women starts with mom. Respecting women starts with mom. I know it's going to be good. You got to tune in. If you can't tune in, make sure you go back and look at it, because I know we're going to talk about 4 different segments and it's going to be amazing. So please join us Saturday. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yes. So thank you all again for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Remember, building your best life is our business. That is not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I'll see you soon, Brittany. And thank you so much for always being on here with me.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. And good night, everyone. Bye-bye.